This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Hunter Biden guilty on all charges in firearm case. A Delaware court verdict. Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, has been found guilty on all 3 counts in his criminal gun trial. The jury in Delaware federal court convicted him of making a false statement in connection with the sale of a firearm, a false statement in a firearms transaction, and possessing a firearm, while being a drug user or drug addict. These charges stem from his purchase of a handgun while actively using illegal drugs. Hunter Biden appeared composed as the guilty verdicts were read, with First Lady Jill Biden and his Aunt Valerie Biden Owens present in the courtroom. His wife, Melissa Cohen Biden, was also there when the verdict was announced. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Judge Canon denies Trump's bid to dismiss classified documents case. Judge Aileen Cannon has denied former President Donald Trump's bid to dismiss a case alleging he mishandled classified documents. The judge rejected Trump's argument that the Presidential Records Act authorized him to retain the documents as his personal files after leaving office. Cannon wrote that the indictment makes no reference to the Presidential Records Act, nor do they rely on that statute for purposes of stating an offense. The judge also agreed to strike one paragraph from the indictment, which she deemed unnecessary. Trump and his co-defendants have pleaded not guilty to the charges, and are accused of illegally retaining classified documents and conspiring to conceal them from the government. The judge's ruling allows most of the indictment to stand, but with some adjustments. A trial date has not yet been set. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Blinken points to Hamas for ceasefire decision as Middle East tensions simmer. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has stated that the fate of the ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas lies in the hands of Hamas. Blinken emphasized that it is up to the Hamas leadership, specifically referring to Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who is currently residing underground in Gaza. Blinken reiterated the call for Hamas to accept the plan as outlined by President Biden 11 days ago. Hamas issued a statement welcoming certain aspects of a UN Security Council resolution that supported Biden's proposed plan, but Blinken stated that Hamas's response was not definitive. He emphasized that the true opinion of Hamas's leadership in Gaza is what matters, which is currently unknown. Blinken made it clear that if the proposal does not move forward, the blame will be placed on Hamas. The Israeli proposal, which has not been publicly disclosed, is reportedly longer and more detailed than Biden's summary. It is also unclear whether it aligns with what Biden announced. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Reopening of Baltimore's shipping channel following tragic bridge collapse and multinational recovery effort. The Port of Baltimore's shipping channel has reopened after 11 weeks of closure due to the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The bridge collapsed when it was struck by a cargo ship, causing the shipping artery to be cut off. 6 construction workers lost their lives in the incident. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has now deemed the channel safe for transit, and it has been restored to its original operational dimensions. Over 2,000 salvage responders, including specialists from around the world, worked to remove the wreckage of the bridge, with the help of tugboats and floating cranes. Rebuilding the bridge is expected to take over 4 years and cost up to $1.9 billion. The FBI and U.S. Coast Guard are currently investigating the incident. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. BMW Mini Cooper scandal. Senator Wyden probes forced labor components. Senator Ron Wyden has sent a letter to BMW North America requesting more details about the car maker's supply chain and whether it has stopped importing banned components. Last month, BMW said it had halted the importation of affected products after a 2-year investigation revealed that at least 8,000 BMW Mini Cooper cars with banned parts had been imported into the U.S. The cars were found to contain components made by Chinese firm Sichuan Jingweida Technology Group, JWD, and they were added to the UFLPA entity list in December 2023. The investigation is in accordance with the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, UFLPA, which aims to prevent the import of goods made by forced labor from China's Xinjiang region. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Secret tapes exposed. Justices Alito and Roberts caught in political storm. A left-wing activist has released secret recordings of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito and Chief Justice John Roberts discussing politically sensitive topics. In one recording, Alito endorses the activist's suggestion of fighting to return the country to a place of godliness. At another point, Alito acknowledges that there may not be a way to negotiate with the left, and that one side or the other will ultimately win. The recordings were made by Lauren Windsor during a dinner hosted by the Supreme Court Historical Society. In a separate recording, Chief Justice Roberts rebuffs the activist's comment that the Supreme Court should be guiding the U.S. as a Christian nation. Martha Ann Alito, Justice Alito's wife, is also heard in one of the recordings expressing frustration with criticism and discussing raising a Sacred Heart of Jesus flag. The Supreme Court Historical Society condemned the recordings, stating that they were inconsistent with the spirit of the event. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Israel's Gaza operation. Civilian toll and war crime allegations. Israel's military operation in central Gaza, aimed at rescuing 4 hostages held by Hamas militants, has resulted in a devastating loss of life, with over 270 Palestinians killed and 700 injured. The United Nations Human Rights Office has expressed deep alarm over the civilian casualties, stating that the Israeli forces' actions may amount to war crimes. The UN spokesperson Jeremy Lawrence emphasized that the Israeli forces' actions raise serious concerns regarding the adherence to the principles of distinction, proportionality, and precaution, potentially constituting war crimes. The report highlights the need for an independent investigation into the incident to ensure accountability for the loss of innocent lives. This incident has further escalated tensions in the region and raised questions about the ongoing conflict and current ceasefire proposal between Israel and Palestine. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Dancing for the Devil. Miranda Derrick, Netflix and 7M Films controversy. Miranda Derrick, the focus of Netflix's recent docuseries, Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. The series explores her alleged involvement with the talent management company 7M Films, founded by Pastor Robert Shin, who has connections to the controversial Shekinah Church. Miranda Derrick has expressed concerns about her safety and the state of her relationships following the documentary's release. In a video posted on her social media, Derrick stated that she and her husband James felt safe before the documentary's release, but now feel endangered. They have received death threats, hate mail, and have been stalked. Derrick also shared some of the disturbing messages she and her husband have received, including threats to harm them physically. The couple now feels that their lives are in danger, and has expressed the need for increased security. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Miami tragedy. Temple Court Apartments fire and shooting leads to arrest. A suspect in the shooting and fire at a Miami apartment building has been taken into custody, according to Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. The incident occurred at Temple Court Apartments on Monday morning, with the fire being reported around 8:15 a.m. Over 125 firefighters battled the blaze for approximately 8 hours, rescuing more than 40 people, including some who were rescued from their balconies. The suspect, whose identity has not been released, is believed to have shot an employee of the complex before starting the fire. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Speeding to a sentence. Rebecca Grossman and the tragic crosswalk incident. A judge has sentenced Rebecca Grossman to 15 years to life in prison for the murders of 2 brothers she struck while speeding through a crosswalk 4 years ago. Grossman was driving as fast as 81 miles per hour and traveled another half-mile after slamming into the children. She was convicted in February of 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter, and 1 count of hit-and-run with fatality. Grossman had refused to accept responsibility for the boys' deaths and tried to manipulate the case from behind bars. Nancy Iskander, the mother of the victims, angrily asked for the sentence to reflect the deaths of both her boys. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Apple unveils Apple Intelligence, revolutionizing personal AI on iOS 18 and macOS Sequoia. Apple has announced a new personal intelligence system called Apple Intelligence, which is designed to understand personal context and deliver intelligence that is helpful and relevant. This system is deeply integrated into iOS 18, iPad OS 18, and macOS Sequoia, and uses powerful generative models to understand and create language and images. Apple Intelligence is also integrated with Siri, with AI features that will make Siri seem more natural and personal, and will allow users to access its generative AI expertise and image understanding capabilities. The system is designed to be private and secure, with on-device processing and server-based models that run on dedicated Apple Silicon servers. The WWDC event also featured updates to Apple TV+, the Photos app, the Passwords app, and new features for iPad and macOS. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Disney debuts Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a leap towards inclusivity and representation at theme parks. A new attraction starring Disney's first black princess is opening at the company's U.S. theme park resorts, replacing a ride based on a movie that contained racist tropes. The new ride, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, updates Tiana's storyline from the 2009 animated film, The Princess and the Frog, and is opening this year in the space previously occupied by Splash Mountain. The water ride keeps Splash Mountain's DNA as a log flume ride but is infused with music, scenery, and animatronic characters inspired by The Princess and the Frog, set in 1920s New Orleans. It opens to the public later this month at Walt Disney World in Florida and at Disneyland in California later this year. The ride replaces a former attraction based on the 1946 Disney movie Song of the South, which contained racist cliches about African Americans and plantation life. The film has been criticized for its racist stereotypes and hasn't been released in theaters in decades. Disney has been criticized for racist tropes in films made in earlier decades, including the depiction of African Americans in Dumbo and The Jungle Book, and Native Americans in Peter Pan. Imagineers who design the Disney rides are always attempting to look at the attractions with fresh eyes and ways to tell new stories, so that everybody feels included. The transformation from Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure is one of several recalibrations at the entertainment giant's theme parks for rides whose storylines are considered antiquated or offensive. The move is seen by many as a positive step towards greater representation and inclusivity in Disney's theme parks. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Unveiling health risks. The true impact of ultra-processed plant-based foods on heart health. Not all plant-based foods are equal when it comes to health benefits, according to a new study. Ultra-processed plant-based foods such as boxed macaroni and cheese, fast food French fries, packaged breads, pastries, buns, cakes, and cookies undergo multiple industrial processes and are formulated to be hyper-palatable. But these foods also raise bad cholesterol levels and hypertension, increasing the risk of heart disease and early death. Ultra-processed foods undergo multiple industrial processes and often contain added chemicals. On the other hand, unprocessed and minimally processed plant-based foods such as fresh fruits and vegetables, eggs, and milk can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. The study suggests that individuals should focus on consuming fresh and frozen minimally processed plant foods for better cardiovascular health outcomes. Plant-based meat alternatives, on the other hand, accounted for only a small portion of the ultra-processed plant-based foods studied in the research. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Tackling racism in football. Vinicius Jr. case sparks change in Spanish football. Racism in Spanish football has been a long-standing issue, with recent incidents pushing the country to a tipping point. In May 2023, Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. was subjected to racist abuse during a match at Valencia's Mestalla Stadium. The incident led to the first criminal conviction in Spanish history, with 3 fans sentenced to 8 months in prison for making monkey-like gestures and sounds aimed at the Brazilian forward. The case was brought directly by La Liga, and the fans were also banned from attending La Liga games and matches involving the Spanish national team for 2 years. Vinicius responded to the news by warning other racists to be afraid, ashamed, and hide in the shadows. The incident highlights the ongoing problem of racism in Spanish football, with many fans and players calling for greater action to be taken. The Spanish Interior Ministry has reported that 48% of the population would accept protests against building a mosque in their neighborhood, indicating a prevalent intolerance towards foreigners. In contrast, England's Premier League has worked consistently to prevent hooligan groups from entering stadiums, resulting in a less violent atmosphere. The UK has also seen more effective action taken against racist incidents, with stadium bans and criminal charges being handed out swiftly. The recent conviction in Spain marks a significant milestone in the fight against racism in football, but more needs to be done to address the issue. The Spanish government and football authorities must work together to create a more inclusive and respectful environment for all players and fans. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Stabbing in China involving Cornell College instructors at Beihua University Park. 4 U.S. college instructors teaching in China were stabbed while visiting a public park, in a rare case of violent crime against foreigners in the country. The educators from Cornell College were participating in a partnership program with Beihua University in the city of Jilin. Footage of the aftermath showed the victims lying on the ground covered in blood, but conscious and talking on their cell phones. The motive and identity of the assailants remain unknown. Knife attacks are not uncommon in China, but public attacks against foreigners are rare. The incident has drawn attention and concern in Iowa, where the college is located. The State Department has confirmed the incident and is monitoring the situation. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Sunak's election strategy, tax cuts, help to buy, and national service plans in Conservative Party manifesto. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has announced his party's election pledges, aiming to regain support following recent controversies. The Conservative Party manifesto includes plans to support first-time home buyers and implement further tax cuts. Sunak has faced criticism for leaving D-Day commemorations early and making misleading claims about tax increases. To rebound, he has promised to reduce national insurance by 2 pence and reintroduce national service for 18-year-olds. In addition, the Conservatives plan to have migration and implement the Help to Buy program to address the nation's housing crisis. The election, scheduled for July 4th, will help determine the future leadership of the United Kingdom. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Tragic skies over Malawi. Vice President Saulos Chilima and passengers perish in plane crash near Lilongwe. Malawi's Vice President Saulos Chilima, along with 9 other passengers, have been killed in a plane crash near the capital Lilongwe. The aircraft went missing after failing to land at Mzuzu International Airport. The wreckage of the plane has been found, and President Lazarus Chakwera confirmed that the plane was completely destroyed. Chakwera paid tribute to Chilima, describing him as a good man and a devoted father and husband. The authorities had previously lost contact with the aircraft after air traffic control advised against landing due to poor visibility. Initially, the Malawi Defense Force deployed drones and soldiers to search for the plane, but the search and rescue operation was hampered by unfavorable weather conditions. The president mourned the loss of the other passengers and highlighted the tragic nature of the accident. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. South Korea warns. Warning shots fired at North Korean troop border incursion. In a recent news report, South Korea fired warning shots at North Korea's troops crossing the border. The incident raises questions about the tension between the two nations and the measures taken to maintain security. South Korea's military identified multiple North Korean soldiers near the border and fired the warning shots as a precautionary measure. The North Korean soldiers, some armed, crossed the military demarcation line, MDL, in the Demilitarized Zone DMZ on Sunday, but quickly retreated after the South Korean warnings. This incident comes amidst growing concerns over North Korea's nuclear weapons program and its military activities. The details surrounding the incident are still unclear, but it highlights the ongoing security challenges on the Korean peninsula. As tensions persist, it is imperative for both sides to engage in diplomatic dialogue to de-escalate the situation and ensure the stability of the region. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Award-winning eats. Albi, Dakar Nola and Langbon shine at James Beard Awards. A Palestinian chef specializing in ancient cooking techniques, a Senegalese restaurant in New Orleans, and an upscale Thai restaurant in Oregon were honored with James Beard Awards. Michael Rafidi, owner of Albi Restaurant in Washington, D.C., won the coveted award for Outstanding Chef. Albi pays tribute to Rafidi's Palestinian heritage by preparing everything over charcoal, including dishes like grape leaves stuffed with lamb. The award for Best New Restaurant went to Dakar Nola, a Senegalese eatery in New Orleans. Langbon, an upscale Thai restaurant using Pacific Northwest ingredients, won the Outstanding Restaurant Award. The foundation, which organizes the awards, faced criticism in recent years for lack of diversity and allegations of misconduct among nominees, but has promised to improve ethical standards. This is the news for today, Tuesday the 11th of June 2024. Elephant Whisperers, exploring how wild elephants may use names. Wild elephants may have their own names that they use to address each other, according to a new study. The research, published in the journal Nature, Ecology and Evolution, was inspired by previous work that showed dolphins have signature whistles that they use to call each other. The study aimed to determine whether elephants also have names that they use to identify themselves. Researchers analyzed recordings of rumblings made by wild African elephants and found that their computer model was able to accurately predict the recipient of the call in 27.5% of cases. The researchers then conducted field tests with 17 elephants, playing recordings of calls addressed to them to see if they would recognize their own names and react differently. The elephants showed signs of recognition and responded more quickly and vocally to calls that were intended for them. However, researchers still do not know exactly what acoustic features in the rumblings equate to names, or if elephants use the same name when addressing the same recipient. At the very least, the study does indicate that there must be something in the calls that's allowing the model to figure out at least some of the time who that call was addressed to.